Okay, I'm making a video because I have to complain to somebody. And I'm doing it like this with this whole wall because it's hot. And I was going to put on something, but it's too hot. I got my fan on so you can hear that. I'm kind of watching America's Got Talent. I don't know if this is some kind of compilation show or anniversary show or something. I didn't see half of the stuff on there. I didn't watch it all the time. It was probably on in the background. Look at my little hairs. So yeah, so I gotta complain about people because I don't freaking know anymore. So yeah, so my life is, I don't know. I'm probably in the most precarious position I've ever been in, or not. I don't know. I have a job. Am I using all my incredible talents, which I don't even think I have? No. But it's a job, and I'm not. I was never a stuck-up person, even though people want me to be, because of the way my face is or something. But you know, I've been doing this for like going on 2.5 years. And it's kind of been the hardest 2.5 years of my life in terms of dealing with people. I admit I've always had an issue with coworkers. I think that's my karma in a way. But these were, in the past, these were like nothing like this. This is, what I'm going through is being around a group of people that I obviously don't belong in, right? But it's to the point now where they make me feel like I can't speak English sometimes. I was literally saying to people this morning, I feel like I don't speak English. People, I've grown accustomed to the concept of people purposely misunderstanding you. The thing of people twisting my words, I've never been able to stand. I don't care if people hate me for the things I say. When people twist my words and stuff like that, that's a whole other thing. But now we're to the point where I'm literally saying to myself, are these people actually stupid or pretending to be stupid? And I've had to ask that question so many times. And I don't know why I'm going like this. I haven't done this in the longest time. It's because I guess I'm self-conscious about being... yeah, see, I didn't see a lot of these dance group ones and stuff. But, I'll give you an example of something that happens to me all the time. And I'm realizing it now. This has happened to me several times in this place. I go to somebody. I want to talk to them about something, right? And then what I say to them gets a response that doesn't match. And when I say doesn't match, I'm not saying it's not the response I want. It's just, I'm going to make up a ridiculous example. Say you went up to somebody and you're like, hey, I'm going to go get an ice cream. Do you want one? What flavor? And then all of a sudden that person goes to you, well, I don't like pastrami, all right? You'd be like, what? I'm asking you about ice cream. I'm not going to go get you one. Why are you mad about pastrami to me? Is pastrami even a flavor of ice cream? What are we talking about? That's the kind of stuff I go through all the time, where I'm talking about something and people are like that, and then it takes me a while to figure out. And I realize now that this is a recurring thing, and it's something, there's all these things that I'm learning. I'm 51. I'm learning this now in my old age because I've never had this issue. Again, I'm a Sagittarius with Sagittarius Mercury and Sagittarius North Node. It's Sagittarius Neptune. I just say things. I tell the truth. Not, oh, look at me, I'm this great Superman type character who always tells the truth. The point is, I'm what they used to call a straight shooter. I say what I mean. I don't hold back. I don't sit there tight. I'm not an introvert. I mean, I don't like being around people at this point, but I'm not an introvert. I never was. You know what I mean? So even if I wished to no longer talk to people, it doesn't work. Because I just do. So it's hard for me to understand what I think I'm starting to grasp. I'm realizing that talk to people about something, and then they said something to me or didn't say something to me or whatever, or people think I'm going to have an issue with something, whatever. So I walk up to people, I say, hey, I'm going to go get an ice cream. You want one? And their thing going, I don't like pastrami, okay? Is a reaction to some conversation from like 2-3 weeks ago about sandwiches that I completely forgot about, that I guess me saying something positive about pastrami hurt their feelings, wounded their inner child, something, and in the moment they were too tight and their throat chakra was blocked, and I don't freaking know how they were raised, but whatever, they couldn't strike out at me because of my pro-pastrami stance at the time. So I've been living rent-free in their head, and now 2 weeks later, out comes their admission that they don't like pastrami. I don't get this. I don't understand why I'm around these kind of people and this kind of energy, if that's what it is, because it doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't. I don't know why I have to be around it. It's not making me smarter. It's not making me taller. It's not making me happier. If there's more than a few people like that, and they're all together, great, good for them. But I've never been around that before, and I feel like I'm meeting kinds of people that I never met before in life, or maybe I did. And maybe everybody was just sitting there stewing about something and hating me, and I didn't even know, and just not coming out with it because they didn't feel like they could. I don't know why people don't say what they mean to say. My teeth are still on, right? It just looked like they weren't. So I work at a place, and the place I work, when I have an issue, I try to resolve it, and I tell the truth, and I'm honest, and I see things. But sometimes I get these responses that don't make any freaking sense to me, and I'm realizing now. There was a point last year where I went to talk to this one person. This is not a person I have a problem with right now, but I had went to talk to them about my own stuff and me being tired and exhausted and falling apart, and I wanted to talk about the schedule, and I wanted to also talk about me being worried about this other girl, for a reason. Not, but she's a bad person, she's a good person, but I was just worried about her because she was, whatever. So I wanted to talk about those two things, so I went to speak to the person I should have spoke to about that, and the whole time I was trying to talk to them, they were talking about this other thing that I totally didn't care about, right? And I wasn't there to talk about, and I'm just sitting there trying to understand, like, if my words were hitting a wall and bouncing back, some invisible force field. It didn't make sense to me, like, why is this person talking to me about this other thing out of nowhere? And then I realized it was like weeks before, there was a new thing we were going to do at work that we hadn't done before, and I don't know if I rolled my eyes, but I remember just not saying anything. Kind of thinking it was stupid, but I didn't say anything. I literally did not say anything. I just, so I didn't speak to that person for a couple weeks. And then when I went to speak to this person about this other thing that was in the present, in the now, they're answering me, they're giving me this response to a complaint I never made. But they thought it took me a while to realize they must have thought I was going to complain, either went and talked to somebody else about it, and they brainstormed to come up with a response to my complaint that I never made about this thing we were going to do at work. That's the only answer. And I'm starting to think this is a pattern, because today I again was wanting to say that, okay, look, I'm having an issue. I've been having an issue. Maybe I need to I need to either have my schedule changed, or, you know, maybe some of these hours need to be taken away from me or whatever, because I'm not being able to do it the way I was before. I don't feel like I am. And the response was, no, we like the schedule the way it is. So, like, almost like I have to do it. Instead of, you know, it was weird. It's like if you said, well, I can't come in early. I'm having a hard time coming in. It's basically what I'm saying. I'm having a hard time coming in that early. Maybe I shouldn't have those hours. And the response was, no, we want the schedule to stay the way it is. Get there. And I'm like, just, you know what I mean? It was like, it didn't matter that I said it was difficult for me. Maybe we, you know, should switch it. And even if it was like, you know, it was like, and this was 3 minutes after I sent the email. And then I got a second email. Oh, yeah, I agree. The schedule should stay the same. And I'm like, what? I've never encountered this in my life. I'm saying I'm having an issue. I'm not blaming anybody else. I'm not saying this one did this one did that. I'm not complaining about anybody. I'm not complaining about the schedule. I'm saying me's the problem, right? Then I've been having an issue where I have this, I feel like there's this communication problem. So somebody told me they thought that I should, when that happens and when I'm sending these emails and it's getting all jumbled up, which to me, I'm very clear. You know, you know, so I should CC somebody higher up. I do. That person starts explaining to me that the person you know, the person wasn't reprimanding me or whatever. I never said anybody was reprimanding. I was reprimanding me. I'm the one saying I'm the problem. I'm not blaming anybody else. But it's like, and I'm sitting there, this is the stuff that makes me say, are they gaslighting me on purpose? Or what the hell is going on? Because I am not, their response is not matching what I said. Why? I'm like, what? Is this a game? What is going on? All my life I have told the truth. I say what I mean. If I'm the bad guy, I'm going to be like, I did it. Okay? So and I just feel like the longer I live, the less I'm able to speak to people. Sometimes I feel like I don't want to talk to younger people. Forget it. Everybody under 30, forget it. I can't, because it's not even the same language anymore. It's just not the same language anymore. You know, and then I know the things I'm interested in, there's nobody to talk to. And I spend most of my days dealing with people that want to have an issue with me. And I'm like, I literally, honestly, I watch movies. I talk about movies online. I do my little videos if I do them. I don't even do videos that much anymore. I don't even do videos about politics anymore. I'm sick of the whole thing. I'm sick of the world, current events. I'm tired of how everything has turned out. So yeah, I don't have any. Is that John Tesh? There's a commercial for NBA and some guy on a keyboard. Was that John Tesh? He had on glasses and very white hair. I think that was John Tesh. I used to really like John Tesh. So yeah, it's just like, this is one of those things, it's unsolvable problem because it's not supposed to be a problem in the first place. You know, if I ask you if you want ice cream, you say you know. Yes. Strawberry. Well, what kind do they have? These are appropriate responses, not, well, I don't like pastrami, okay? From some thing we were talking about 2 weeks ago that I didn't even know was an argument. So I'm learning now that there are all these people who, again, their throat chakra's tight or whatever, and they just hold things in and they stay mad, and there's all this shit going on. And I'm like, part of me is like, were people like this before? Because for whatever reason, I don't feel like I was confronted with it. If there were, I mean, I was in college, I was in high school, I was around people where I lived in a dorm. There was times when people did shit, and I was like, I would look at them and I'm like, what's wrong with you? Because they were like acting out instead of using their words or whatever. But it was never like this. Because to me, it's like, what I'm going through with people, they really want there to be a problem. They don't want to clear things up. They don't want to clear the air. They don't want to be like, okay, well, I hate you and you hate me, and let's just hate each other. If that's the case, again, the other problem with these 2-week-old answers is I forgot by then. Even if I have an issue with most people, even if it's a big issue, unless it's something that you're really, really, really trying to destroy me, I usually get over everything right away. So even if we had a disagreement, which I really kind of don't disagree with people, I just let it go. I'm very good at just letting things go and being like, all right, you're being a dickhead to me. You go be a dickhead over there. I'm going to go and do something else. Right? And I think sometimes people want the fight. They want the smoke, as the kids say. And I don't give it to them. And that causes an issue. And that's why 2-3 weeks later, 2 months later, they're all, because they never got to have the fight they wanted. And it's like, I don't care about you that much. I don't care about your bullshit that much. I don't, you know what I mean? Fight you, great. Hate pastrami. Wonderful. Do you want me to help you make a t-shirt that says I hate pastrami? Why is that? You know what I mean? Okay, we disagree about something, so what? Okay, we don't do things the same way, so what? Now we know who's who and what's what. Why can't we both just coexist? And no, I gotta be you in order for you to be able to handle life? I don't understand. So I'm constantly having these issues with these people, and I'm like, I lived almost 50 years without having this degree of this, where I really feel like people are purposely trying to misunderstand me and purposely trying to be offended and purposely trying to be hurt, and they're not teenagers on Twitter. They're grown-ass adults, and I'm just like, it's where I don't know what to say, and I'm very good at talking to people. When I don't know what to say, that's a problem. And that's what I said today. I sent an email and said, I literally don't know what to say in response to this. And the person told me some really hilarious things, again, that didn't match what I was talking about. But it is what it is. Then there's this other thing of people explaining to me what somebody else is doing. Like, everybody's translating. Either they're translating what I said, or they're translating what somebody else said. And it's like, no. Like, that was the other side of what I was talking about. Because I feel like sometimes when I talk to people, it's almost like I didn't email them directly, or I didn't talk to them directly. It's almost as if somebody else got the email and paraphrased it for them, and now they're going based off that. And it's like, nobody had to translate me for you. If you decided you needed to sit there and talk with somebody else and brainstorm an email to me for some unknown reason instead of just doing it yourself, I don't get that either. But my favorite new thing is somebody is a brand new person explaining to you somebody you've known for, or you've been dealing with for like 20 years. Somebody explaining to you, oh no, you didn't understand what they were doing. You didn't understand what he meant. Or you didn't understand, or you know what I mean? It's like, imagine some random person who, I don't know, a new neighbor or a new coworker, somebody telling you explaining your brother's behavior to you or your parents' behavior to you. You know what I mean? All these things, I feel like I don't remember ever dealing with this before. People love explaining to me like I'm stupid. That's the other thing. There's a lot of this, and I didn't realize this at first, and when you tell somebody something, you're telling them, you're giving them information, you're informing them of something, right? And then they explain it to you. Like, you say, oh, Joey stabbed me. Oh, that's because he's a violent person. And that's supposed to be the end of the story. Oh, there's no, yeah, we work at a place that makes hamburger sandwiches, but there's no hamburger. And then they tell you, oh, hamburger comes from cows. Ooh, wow, really? Oh, well, now that I have that answer that has nothing to do with what I was talking about, that really solves the problem of us not being able to make hamburgers. That's why sometimes I'm like, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of me informing somebody of a situation and them explaining it to me. Like if I said, oh, you know, it just I do examples that aren't real, because if I told you the real thing, you understand? But it's like by them explaining it to you, and I think they do it on purpose. They're calling you stupid. They're saying, okay, you don't understand this thing. I'm going to explain it to you so that you will understand that I think you're stupid. Even though you were telling them something. You know what I mean? That happens a lot. And I think it's the way I look. I think I look stupid to people. Like there are times, like I used to go to public meetings. There are times when you tell, like, a public official something and they don't know about it, but they're supposed to, because they're the hot shit public official. And then they explain shit to you that has nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? And then they have to go think about it. This is what I think happens. I think sometimes I tell people stuff and they're not there. And again, I feel like it's gotta be this timid something about people that I'm not familiar with, where they're so tight that they can't even hear you. You know? So they have to freaking process what you said. And I don't know, I can't think of the appropriate non-offensive word for that. So it takes them 2 weeks to understand that you were telling them the building's on fire, right? And you know, no, that's because wood's flammable. Oh, okay, well, never mind then. Don't do anything about it. And then 2 weeks later, they're coming and everything's burnt to the ground. And like, well, I mean, I'm not a fireman. It's like, I just feel like I've never had such a difficult time speaking to people. And it's not, I'm having a difficult, like, I can't make the words. Yeah, my food, because you could see it because of the camera. Yeah, hold on. I realized a while ago, just calling places to try to get information, I used to run into problems a lot. And I think I just had this problem at the doctor's office the other day. Again. A person's in a job. Doesn't matter how long they've been doing the job. Say you called a place in, I don't know, it's a paint store. And they train the person to answer these. If they ask this, say that. If they ask that, say that. If they ask the other thing, say this. And then you call and you ask a question that is not on the paper. Instead of them trying to figure it out, they're not able to figure it out. So they just start saying the answers that are on the paper. The answers that everybody. So most people call and ask what time the store's open. You call up and you say to them, I was wondering if this paint is environmentally friendly. Or you ask some out of some brand new question they never heard before. And they go, we're open till 9. And you know it has nothing to do with what you asked, but that's what most people ask them. They didn't hear a word you said. They know they picked up the phone. Somebody went blah, 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 blah. And so they say we're open till 9 because that's what most people ask. There's that whole stupid thing. But that becomes frustrating because that happened to me a lot. I was calling around government agencies and stuff like that. And you will get people who, you ask a question they're not prepared for. And it's like, how is that a thing? Because it's not like you're calling McDonald's and asking them about Social Security information or something like that. And you're not calling Social Security asking what the fries are boiled in or fried in, boiled in. What kind of oil are they using at McDonald's? You're not doing that either. So, if, a person answering the phone should be able to transfer you to somebody if they don't know the answer. But I found a lot of the times you call and it's really like you blow people's mind by asking them a question they haven't had before. I'm supposed to be going to physical therapy. I have been going. And I realized that because there was arthritis on my knee, they weren't bothering to give me exercises that would really help strengthen my knee because that felt like it popped when I got hurt. So they're just giving me these basic, what do you call it? Arthritis exercises. I had to figure the whole thing out, figure out what was wrong. I had to look at the summaries and realize they only had the arthritis. This is not the reason I was going there. I told them it. But again, it's these people, they get paid to do a job and they have a handful of answers or one answer. Oh, here's a sheet. Well, couldn't I have looked up that sheet online? Why am I here? And it happens more and more and more. And it's like, but people are supposed to be, like, there was a point in time where people worked in a factory. There was a point in time where there was a receptionist who answered one or two questions and then transferred people on or didn't, or would just answer on the phone for the boss. So there were those jobs that were like that, where there was just, if this, do that, if that. Those jobs existed. So people who could only do those kind of jobs should have been in those jobs. Now, I feel like I'm dealing with people who are supposed to they're in jobs where you're supposed to be able to think. You're supposed to be able to come up with an answer or find an answer. You're supposed to be able to hang up, take a message, get back to people, let me look into that. You're supposed to be able to do these things. And more I'm dealing with people who, it's like you're challenging them just by asking a question. Because it's not the same 5 questions everybody else asks, And I don't think the world was like that before. I really don't get it. And it's like, I can't stand being around it. And I don't understand why my life has me here. In a situation where and if it's that people are really that stupid, I really, really, really didn't understand that people are that stupid. Really. And that means that I wasn't around that. So what? I was around geniuses for the first 49 years of my life? I don't think so. Like, okay, like right now I'm not hearing them, but I'm looking at the America's Got Talent judges. And the one who seems the most basic is Simon, right? He's the one with all the money. He's the one who produces the show and stuff. But he has the same responses. He wears the same shirt every day. You know what I mean? He's, you know, it works though, you know? I don't know. Like, Howie's the brains, you know? Heidi, she's not on there anymore, but she used to be very smart. This is what I'm saying. I feel like if I went up to Terry Crews, if I went up to Mel B, and I don't feel like I'd have an issue communicating with these people. You know? Simon might look at me and go, "What? You're a weird person. Why are you asking a weird question?" You know what I mean? I don't completely understand, but so, you know, I sit there and I feel bad. I felt really bad today. I was just like, I want to walk away. I don't want to. And it's not just these people. It's most people. I just want to walk away. Because I don't know what to do anymore. Because there's no talking to them. I don't even mean talking about deep subjects. Because that used to be a thing I wanted very much, right? I really wanted to be able to have good conversations. This isn't even that. This is, can you understand the basic things I'm saying? But, so, part of my thing has been, is this purposeful? Are these people being what they call obtuse on purpose? Are they doing this because they don't feel like you deserve an answer? Are they doing this because they're trying to mess with you? Are they trying to break your brain? You know? And part of it seems like some kind of sick game, but I'm like, what game? For what purpose? You know, like, let's say they were evil demons. It still doesn't make sense. You know? For what? For what? You know? It's like volunteering to become stupid. I don't get it. And then I say to other people, you know, and they're like, no, they understand what I'm saying. So, what are these people doing? Because it's shocking in a way, because every time you get a new one that's like that, you're like, really? And I'm talking about this, what seems like purposely misunderstanding. Like, why do you want there to be... It's like, it's not even wanting there to be tension. It's just... I really don't understand. I don't know. I know there's gossip, and I know there's a bit of... But I just expect people to be smarter than that. I expect people... Say you come into a new group of people, and everybody's talking trash about one person. I just feel like everybody knows by now. That doesn't that's not necessarily true. You know? Or if everybody hates somebody... but you don't believe what's being said about them. And things have taken a particularly gossipy tone as of late, because there's one gossip person, you know, and so everybody's going along with that. 9:54. For a minute, I thought Stand Up to Cancel was on because there's a long commercial. That's why I looked down and I wanted to see if it was like coming on now or what. It makes me feel bad because I don't want to be on a planet like this. I don't want to be on an earth like this. I don't want to be around people like this. And it's just like, I literally was like, I used to say I felt like I aged out. Now I don't even know what to call it because I just feel like I can go to the movies, come home, go on Letterboxd, you know, and talk to people about movies and stuff. But then there's those other people who got to argue. There was a whole thread arguing, is it a comedy or not? And it's like, calm down. They get mad because to them it's a horror movie, and other people are saying it's a comedy, and they're like, what is that about people? Why can't people have their own opinions and be proud of their opinion? Why do they have to? Why are people so insecure? I think that's the word, and that's the emotion or whatever that I'm realizing now in my old age is so prevalent. How insecure people really are. So that if you say anything, it shakes them up bad. And I never knew people were like that. I think I grew up around a lot of people where I was a teenager or I was in college with people. People were confident. People were like, yeah, this is what I think. You know, so too bad for you. I'm going to think what I want. No, you know, it's not going to bother me if you think differently than me. It's not going to bother me if you know something I don't. I probably know things you don't. It's not going to bother me if you call me out because I knew I was doing the wrong thing. It's not going to bother me if you call yourself out, because that's the thing that gets me. Like, if I say that I did something wrong or I say it's my fault, it's like because other people want to cover up their mistakes. Me admitting to my mistakes bothers them. You know, it's that. I feel like I'm around that. I'm around people who are so, I can't explain it. People who really want to put on a show instead of being who they are. So I be who I am. I'm going around being who I am. And that offends them. Because they take it personally. Because I'm not pretending for them. I'm not tap dancing so they'll like me. You don't have to like me. You know, but because I'm not, you know, doing all the whatever things that people do to be liked, you know. Oh, let's get the same nails together. Let's all be the same. Because I'm not trying to be just like you. You get offended. You know, there's so much, and I just feel like this is you're supposed to go through in high school. I didn't go through this in high school. I was not around mean girls. They weren't even a thing in my high school. I promise you. Yeah, there were cheerleaders. Yeah, there were people. They weren't like that. You know, and I was not one of them. So I'm not saying that because I hung around. I was just a random person who said hi to everybody and didn't really hang around with anybody. But I had no problems with people. And I didn't see any of this kind of childish, you know, you hurt my feelings by being different from me. You being different from me is you attacking me. You know, you being yourself and being okay with yourself is an assault on me because I hate myself. All this shit, it's just like, I just feel like this didn't really exist. Not even that long ago. I'm not even saying 20 years ago. I'm saying 10 years ago. Just like everybody's just like comparing themselves and flipping out and you know, seeing everybody else as a threat. And it's like, Jesus Christ, why can't you just show up and be yourself and go home and not be worried about if you're as good as this one or who's better than you? You know, all this kind of shit. You know, and that's why I'm saying, I know I'm getting up, I'm trying to get through the day, and I'm coming home and I'm doing what I need to do. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And just that act is a problem. Telling the truth, doing what I'm supposed to do. If I make a mistake, admitting it, telling on myself. All these things trigger all these people because there's no other reason for them to be flipping out on me all the time. Because all I'm doing is showing up and being myself and going home. You know what I mean? And if I have an issue, I say it plain to resolve it and move on. But you got people carrying around stuff for, the funk of 40,000 years because they can't, they're too tight to say so. I can't help that anymore, and I can't stand it anymore. And you know how it's like, oh, when Jesus was like, forgive them, they know not what they do. I can't do that anymore. I've had my fill of immature people who lack self-awareness, who are just acting out and needing too much attention. And anything that falls under immature or narcissistic, or anything where people, any temper tantrum stuff, anything that falls under childish, immature, that whole realm of stuff, I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. Ignorance. Everybody doesn't know stuff. But when you have a vast amount of ignorance, and you've been on this earth for 30 years or more, I can't tolerate you anymore, because there's too much common knowledge people are supposed to have, and I can't anymore. I've had too much of stupidity. I've had too much of it, and I can't not call people stupid anymore, because I believe it's a choice. You will have people who, for whatever reason, if IQs matter, maybe they don't have the best IQ, but they learn, they read, they take information in. You know what I mean? So I don't want to hear somebody can't help it. Oh, you know what I mean? Oh, and I'm not talking about doing difficult things. I'm talking about being a person. If you don't know how to be a person to other people, you don't know how to be decent, you don't know how to, like I said, just agree to disagree. You don't know how to act in a setting where there's many people. You don't have interpersonal skills. Don't be interpersonal if you don't have interpersonal skills. You're an introvert. Go be an introvert in an introverted place. Stay in the house. Work from home. You know what I mean? I want to say I can't baby any people anymore. I feel like I babysit so much, and the people I'm babysitting are older than me, and I can't. I'm not a psychiatrist. I can't cater to everybody's, wounds and their daddy issues or whatever. I can't, or needing to be the prettiest girl at the ball. Whatever these people need, all their insecurities and stuff, I can't anymore. I can't. Go talk to a shrink. Go talk to Jesus. I can't do it anymore. But it's like, this is why I used to do videos, because I didn't have anybody to talk to. But before, I wasn't around people all the time. Now I'm around people all the time, and I feel, they call it lonely, they call it stuff like that. I feel more isolated on this planet than I ever have in my entire life, to the point where I don't believe for one hot minute that it's ever going to be worth it. It's ever going to be worth the amount of bullshit I have to put up with. And that's coming from the people I see every day, people I see all the time. I would really like to walk away and never see these people again. I would like to, like, if I won Powerball tomorrow or something, it's Powerball even tomorrow, but you get the idea. If I won the lottery, I would just be like, get me out of here. And I'd want to go somewhere the opposite of Cheers. I've said that before. I want to go somewhere where nobody knows my name. I just want to just not see anybody the same anymore. Because it's just, even if the person that I see on a daily basis doesn't bother me, they're attached to the situation I'm in, which is really just, it's really starting to actually depress me. Because it's really just, it feels like there's no way out, and it's just, like when the lepers, and I'm not saying I'm Jesus, but I just thought of, again, I'm thinking of Jesus Christ Superstar over and over again, when the lepers were attacking him, and they were just clawing at him. And it's just like, get off me. I'm just trying to be alive, and I'm not trying to bother you, but you're bothering me. And if you bother me, I'm going to say so. And if I have a problem because I suck at something, I'm going to say I suck. I can't. I'm still having such a hard time wrapping my head around how me saying I suck is unacceptable, and you have to say, no, you're wrong, you have to do this thing. It's the stupidest way of thinking I've ever heard of. You know what I mean? Oh, I hurt my leg, I can't run the marathon. No, you have to run the marathon because I want you to run the marathon. Well, I don't want to hurt myself, and I don't want to feel in pain. The marathon's not that important to me. Well, no, you're running the marathon because I said so. I don't understand this planet. I really don't. And I feel really put upon by God, the universe, whatever put me here. I feel really put upon because I just feel like this whole fucking life has been me having to be here for no good reason. Me having to be alive for no good reason. And it sucks. But you can't quit, right? Because like I said, I feel like if you quit, you'll come back and get an even worse life. So. But I'm very exhausted, beyond exhausted. And it's not even okay for me to say that. It's not okay for me to say I'm exhausted. It's not okay for me to say I'm too tired to keep doing this. Explain it to me. Explain how this is my life. Explain how I'm around that kind of person. Or why there's so many of them. And tell me, prove to me that people were like this 10 years ago, because I swear they weren't. And I don't think people were as stupid 10 years ago as they are. I think people have gotten stupider. Could be the thing. Could be a lot of stuff, but I feel sometimes, I've talked about timelines and stuff, but it's almost as if I was picked up, you know, like in Clash of the Titans when they pick up Perseus and they move him over there. I almost feel like I was picked up and put into a different dimension, a different version of life that's darker and just more wrong, you know, like in the Langoliers. I've said that in the past, when, you know, it's a old version, or it's a version that needs to be erased, like the worst timeline, right? But everything looks the same. And I'm not around the same people, you know? The people I'm around, I feel like the people I was around 10 years ago, meaning the same place in the same city, it's just totally different looking people. Almost as if, like, instead of having Massachusetts type people, like I'm around a bunch of hicks or something. Or people who, you know, hillbillies. Like, not mass holes. It doesn't really make sense. So I feel out of place in the place I've almost always been. You know, so how am I so out of place and out of time? And just, I've always been a misfit. I've always been an outcast, but this is something different. It's like not a different species. I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to call it. It just feels like I'm in the wrong place. I'm in the wrong universe. I'm in the wrong life. All of a sudden, in the last couple of years, like this, you know, I it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, how am I dealing with this shit all the time, day in and day out? The same people, feigning the same ignorance, the same stupidity. What is it? That many people can't be stupid all at once. Maybe it's catchy. I don't know. But I'm tired of it. Because it seems like they're pretending. They're pretending to be stupid just to what? I don't even know what. I mean, it is driving me crazy, but not to drive me crazy, because why would you do that? I'm not that important. I don't know. But I'm really feeling just misplaced. Like, what was this all for? You know, I was watching a reaction to a video of Taryn Manning, I think her name was. I remember her from Hustle and Flow and stuff like that. And she was kind of saying the same shit about but she went and had a career and she was famous and stuff like that. But the same thing, like, what was it all for? You know, I didn't choose that much. I mean, like I said, I chose where I went to college, and then everything after that felt like have to. But you know, it's like I see people with families and stuff, they don't look happy. So, but it's just at some point you look at your life and you're like, what is this? What was this? I went through a lot. I suffered a lot. I spent most of my time around people I don't like. You know, I didn't choose it. What's all this choice shit? I don't remember having all kinds of choices. It's, you know, that's why I stay by myself. I'm not shy. I don't like my choices. It's pastrami ice cream and burger sandwich. Which do you want? I don't want those. And this, as the days go, I feel more and more I just don't belong here. And it's a time and a place. It's not just a place. It's not just Earth. It's this moment in the world. It's this moment in the world. Because I was just thinking of Trump and Putin and Zelensky and how stupid everything is right now. And it's this point in the world where I don't belong here. I don't belong at this time. August 12th, 10:12 in the p.m. I don't belong here. 2025, right? I should have left Earth a long time ago, I think. I don't belong here. And I'm not going to feel different tomorrow. It's bad. Bad.